Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with Cheetah will view. Welcome to the special Friday edition of 8 questions with. I know not only are we on a Friday, but we're at 9 o'clock. But welcome in, welcome in. Um, I know that I know some of you guys will be coming over a little bit later from in the house uh, where Larry and Don are holding court. And I was over there earlier checking out their channel. They interviewed Austin Galante on the show. I had no idea that was going to happen. I walked over there and they're saying we're interviewing Austin Galante, and I'm going, oh, isn't that isn't that cool? Because we're interviewing Genia Dulot, who also starred with Austin Galante in Sweet Killing Machines. He cast her in his film, and she played a pivotal part in it. And then, lo and behold, he's on their show, and then now we have her on our show. It's a small world, but I gotta say that the boys did really, really well. Really good questions. The chat was engaged. Austin seemed really relaxed. I saw him do another interview about a week ago on another channel, and yeah, he did not look too comfortable there, um, not at all. But he looked loose and relaxed tonight, and it really came through. And yeah, Don and Larry tore it up tonight. Congratulations, man! I hope you guys do it again. It's always fun interviewing people from the film world. It really is. It's a real joy. Um, So that they're wrapping up their show tonight. Hopefully, a few of you guys will come over from their show over here, as we'll be talking with Jenna tonight. And not only is she a fine actress, but she's also a stand-up comedian, which is really cool too. And she sort of come. I watched some of her. I watched her do her stand up, some of her stand up, and she sort of reminded me of Lisa Ann Walter. Um, to tell you the truth, very some very sassy stand up coming your way, and she dresses she can pull it off too, but she can dress up really nice. She's easy on the eyes, that's for sure, and her humor is very very funny. Jenna is was born in Russia, so she has a lot of Russian humor into her stand up, which which is pretty entertaining in of itself. But we're going to be talking lightly about that too, because I wonder if she has family that's affected by what's going on over in Russia and Ukraine. I wonder if she still has family, living over there. That's got to be really tough if you're from that area, even if you're here living in the States, but knowing that you have relatives in the line of fire or potentially in the line of fire. Um, I just tell Putin to go home. Just go home. No, there's no reason for him to be there. The Bud Files is here. Greetings, greetings. How are you? How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I do. I really appreciate that. And yeah, it feels a little different being here on a Friday night. I know I've done this before, but it just feels a little bit odd. I'm looking outside and it's still sunny out at 9 o'clock. All right. So while we're waiting, I should go ahead and break out the calendar. I need to do the calendar. I've been getting away from that because I've been talking, but I need to go ahead and break out the calendar so you guys know what's coming up. Um, First of all, go ahead and if you haven't done this already, this is for the people who are watching the replay. If you haven't done this yet, feel free to hit the notification bell, notify me button on all of our upcoming live streams. Hit the notification, notify me so it'll be you'll know when we go live. Hey Stephen, how are you? Doing well, sir. Doing well. So before I get into the calendar, I do gotta get a shout out though to you guys who are watching. We interviewed filmmaker Samuel Schumacher on Wednesday. Sensational show. Thank you guys so much for that. And then yesterday we talked to Sherry Severs, and again, you guys rolled out strong for that. uh, doing really, really well as far as you guys coming out and watching it and watching the replay. But uh, if you do come by for a replay, hit the like button and drop a comment. That will really, really help. I mean, the views help a lot too, but when you hit the like button and drop a comment, that increases the algorithm. The algorithm will kick this out a little bit better, kick it out there for everybody to see. So if you guys could always drop comments on the show, that really would help. Hit the like button and drop a comment. Believe me, I'm answering every comment that I get. So and I'm catching up with the ones I haven't yet. So that would be really, really helpful. All right, so here we go. The calendar is up. Um, hey, Greg, how are you? Uh, Thank you for coming in. I hope that you get a chance to watch our I interviewed two artists this past week. Sophie May V and Angela Williams. Both were here. Both were great artists. If you get a chance, check that out. I have started to create a playlist based on the people we talk to, um, as far as that goes. I've created a playlist for writers. I created one for musicians. I've created one for um, what else did I do for the interviews that we've done in the UK? So far, I think those are the only three I've done so far. But artists, the interviews from the UK, and musicians. So, and I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to be doing more. I'm going to be doing one for tubers, and then I'll do some other ones. Hopefully, I can get a few more for the animal rescue crew, and I can do that. Those folks are hard to get interviews with. Those actually more hard to get interviews with than they are actors and directors. I've definitely have I ever met Jenny Cryptid? She's a growing influencer. Yeah, I'm not really into the influencer aspect of things. Not too much. I'm interested in someone who's creative. I think an influencer. I'm not. I don't know if I could be wrong. I don't really feel influencers are creators. Um, and I don't know. That's just me. But I'm more interested in creatives. That interests me. That makes me want to talk to them. Having someone come out there and push something or somebody's product is not my idea of what I want to do here. Um, I want to promote creatives. That's what I want to do. Um, let's see. Oh, a cosplayer? Well, yeah, I could take a look at her what she does. I can see what she I can talk to you after the show, Stephen, about it for sure. I could um um we can talk about it after the show. I have to see what she bringing to the party too. You got to bring something to the party. If she can do that, then we could talk. Like both our guests this week, Sherry and Samuel, outstanding, outstanding. I could not have been more thankful for both of them to come in there and basically do the show with a week's notice and kicked ass. They went out after the show was over and promoted the hell out of it. And I'm still seeing that today. Still seeing that today. People are coming by and watching the replays, and that's just fantastic. I can't thank you enough for that. To everybody who's out there supporting the interviews and supporting those two, supporting Samuel and Sherry. Super nice people. Um, Oh, it's the Hobbs is in the house. The Hobbs was on the show this week. That's right. The Hobbs was on the show. He helped me co-host the interview we did with Angela from Morbid Heart Designs. That was a very interesting interview, and we adore Angela. We're so glad that she came by and talked to us. And I was super happy to see Hobbs jump in here and carry half the freight with me. I'll always make sure a good shoulder while I can. Let me do this just in case. I forget sometimes I need to do this. I need to go ahead and open up in case they need to get a hold of me. Because sometimes, oh, all right. Awesome. Okay, so we're working hard. We're working hard. We just got confirmation for our first show in July. Our first show in July just confirmed. So we are rocking and rolling. I can't I'm so tickled. All right. So let me go ahead and break out the calendar for you. Because we do got a calendar. I need to push those dates a little bit. So today, of course, is Jenna, and I don't. It's called Genia. Genia or Genia? I'm saying Jenna, but I don't think that's how it's pronounced. But you know, being the names, right? Uh, all right. So here's what we got going on. So next Tuesday we have a double header. We have a double header. So we're going over to Great Britain. That's right. We're going across the pond to Great Britain. We're going to be interviewing Victoria Chambers, actress Victoria Chambers, and actor and acting coach Derek Barr together. Victoria is just starting out on her career, it's just getting started. And Derek is already a skilled operator. He's already appeared in many big productions, and he's got a really good reputation as a coach. And so they're going to come together, and we're going to talk about getting involved. How to start. How to start in the acting business, and then some of the tricks of the trade you'll need to know to help your career out. And I thought asking Derek, because I always wanted to ask what an acting coach actually does, and so we talked to him about that as well. There is Jamie Hill right there. Jamie Hill. I just listened to your interview that you did on Horror Realms. I listened to that today. I listened to the one with you and with Elizabeth. Of course I did, right? So I listened to Jamie's interview and then I listened to Elizabeth. You guys did a really nice job. That was a lot of fun. It was fun. I just I had just subscribed to him a while ago, and today was like the first time I went over to his channel. I mean, to really go over and take a look at it, because it said it had an interview pop up on my feed. So I said, let me go over there and take a look at that. And then I went over there and hit his playlist, and then he had all the interviews, women in horror. So I clicked on that and I scrolling down to see who he's talked to, and then bam, there's Jamie's name right there. And I'm like, okay, well, this guy's already doing all right. So I listened to Jamie's interview. He got scrolled down a little bit further. There's Elizabeth right there. I'm going like, oh boy, it's Genesis. Genesis is here. I love it. I love Elizabeth. She's so awesome. Let's see. Hobbs is bringing up some baseball. Yes, Yankees and Dodgers tonight. The Reds are taking care of business last night. Heard they're beating the Cubs 3-0. If they win there, they'll be going to a tie for second place in their division. That's right. Yankees are going to be playing a little man short tonight, though, as Juan Soto has hurt his left forearm, and so he is missing today's game. So we don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully, it's just something that can get taken care of. Nothing major, and he'll come back to the lineup real soon. Um, so yeah, right now the Yankees are definitely missing his bat, and they're tied with the Dodgers 0-0, and then last I heard in the sixth inning. All right, that's enough about baseball. Okay, so after we talk to our friends in Great Britain, we come back down here in our regular time frame. Our regular time frame, 8 o'clock. We'll be talking with actor Dar Dixon. Will be here at 8 p.m. And then on the 12th, we have the band Camp Crush will be with us, and they'll be here. I cannot wait for you guys to see to meet Jen and Chris. They make fantastic music. Jen Deal's got a major league voice, and they write really good songs as well. Sort of has for me when I was listening to it, it's just rich. It's really it could almost be gothic. Her voice could probably she probably could do goth very easily, um, but she has such a fantastic voice and with incredible range. And they'll be here on the 12th of June at 8 o'clock. I hope you guys can make it for that too, because that's gonna be a banging show. I'll tell you that. Thank you guys for coming in. I see we have 7 in here. Feel free to share us out on your community tabs, saying that we are up and running. Uh, and then on the 13th, we have RVer Steve Byer will be here from Desert Adventures in Arizona. He will be here next Thursday, and we're going to be talking all things RVing and Arizona, talking about heat, exploration. Steve's one of the nicest guys. I'm saying this every day, all day. He's really one of the nicest guys I've met in that community. And I say it again and again and again. I should have had him on a long time ago. I always meant to in the back of my head, and I just never did it. And I don't know why. I have no explanation to why it took so long to get Steve on the show. But I'm glad he agreed to do it, and I'm looking forward to talking with him next Thursday, on the 13th. All right. Uh, let's see. On the 17th, we're doing a special Monday night show on the 17th. We're gonna have the cast and crew of the Wicked Ways of Webster County. They're going to be here on the 17th, led by fearless ringleader Michael James Menard. This is his new project that he's launching, and we're going to do our part to help publicize it. And they're going to talk about the film and what it entails. And we're going to be doing something a little bit different too. We're going to be actually pushing. We're going to actually be actually encouraging people to contribute to the project. Uh, this will be done for Indiegogo a starter, Indiegogo crowdsourcing, crowdfunding. We're actually going to be advocating for that for this show because we like Michael a lot and we believe in his vision, and I think his movie should be made. And if we can get people to donate a few dollars to get him closer to that, we're going to do it for him. Um, so I'm looking forward to talking to him about that and seeing who he brings to the party on the 17th, and that will be at 8 o'clock as well. Tuesday the 18th, we will be having Corey from Wilkie's Movies and Music. Corey is a new YouTuber, relatively new. I think he said he's coming up to his year anniversary. He has rapidly become one of the more popular film tubers around. His lunchtime show on Friday nights is very, very fun to watch. A lot of people show up for that. And every Fridays, he talks to us for about an hour or so. And yeah, we there's a lot of fun to be had there. Um, so he will be our guest on the 18th at 8 o'clock. We're going to be talking some music there with him as well too, because he mentions music and movies. So I'm always interested in when people talk about their music. I want to see what kind of music they listen to. All right. No, no, no. Jenna is coming in at 9 o'clock. We're scheduled at 9 for today. She's on the West Coast. She's in LA, so she's probably trying to make her way home. And that always is. So she asked when we booked the show if we could do it today and if we could push it back till 9 o'clock. I said no problem, no problem. So yeah, it's a special start time on Friday, but she'll be here. I got both my Facebook and my Instagram open in case she reaches out to me if she has problems opening up the link. So far, no, she has no problem so far. Um, yeah, LA traffic is it's crazy. Anybody who's lived out in California knows what I'm talking about. I lived in California for 36 years. Yeah, traffic can be a beast anywhere in California. So especially Los Angeles. All right, so we talked a little bit about so we talked a little bit about Corey, and then on 19th we bring back an author. That's right. I have not done a author in a while. Talked to an author, a published author, but I went and found one because I wanted to talk to one. So we're going to be talking to novelist Angela Haas. Will be here with us on the 19th. She has her first book in her series called First Strike. That's coming out. That's out right now, and it's start of a series. And I read the first chapter of it, and it's damn good, really good. She says it's a combination of science fiction and the Avengers. I could dare say that it has some military sci-fi in there as well. So if you like military sci-fi, like Star Wars or Star Trek, that sort of thing, where there's ship battles in space and all that, you'll like that book too. So we'll be having Angela Hawes on the 19th, and we're talking about her book and her writing process. And yeah, looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Very nice lady too. And then on the 20th, um, we have a massive panel show. And we're going to be interviewing the cast and crew of the movie. Uh, yeah, filthy animal. And then we'll be talking to the director and the screenwriter Jeff Clark Jr. along with executive producer Pat Bradley, and we'll be talking to I don't want to say the name wrong. I'm gonna try not. I'm trying very hard to make sure I don't mess up the names. Okay, Kelly Grego. Kelly Grego. And Michael Owen Stanny. They will be here. We'll be joined by special guest host. Now, how's this for fun? We did this once before. We caught lightning in the bottle, so I said, why not try it again? We're bringing back Sherry Severs to come back and co-host the show with us. The young lady that we talked to last night, well, she's going to come back on the 20th and co-host the show with us as we talk. The Filthy Animal. That's a beautiful film, by the way. I've got to watch the film. It's beautiful. It's something you don't ever see out there at all. Very few do you ever see the type of movie that's coming out, um, and it's different. And so we have the cast and crew out there for this movie. All right. Let's see. I want to make sure this is okay. Yep. Okay. So Jenna just pinged me. She's on her way in. She'll be here shortly. So we are in good shape. Um, yeah, yeah. She's talking about trying to get home on a Friday night in Los Angeles. I totally understand that. I know the LA traffic is a total beast. So yeah, that's the reason why we started a little bit later. So if you are hearing this, you're okay. Just take your time, get home safely. We'll be here when you're ready. We're not going anywhere. All right. Let's see. And that will be on the 20th at 8 p.m. So on the 22nd, and that is going to be on a Saturday, we are busy, busy, busy. We will be doing two things on the Saturday, the 22nd, or at least I know I am for sure. I will be hosting once again for our good friend Hobbs Horror. I will be hosting an hour-long live stream to help us help our friend Hobbs. I will be up live from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock. So I will be up here for an hour if you guys want to come by and chit chat. And we got a special event planned for that. We got a special plan if you come in there and you donate. I got something really cool to offer you guys. To the person who donates the most money during my hour segment, we have a special prize for you. Something that might perk your interest, and hopefully you'll take it because it's something very cool. And so we're going to be here on the 22nd for an hour helping our good friend Hobbs out. And then at 4 o'clock, I'm going to back across the pond once again to hang out with our good friend Gareth, Video Tasties, and he and I will be doing a watch party for the movie Sahara. That's right. We'll be at Gareth's house at 4 o'clock watching Sahara. That's the one with Matthew McConaughey, Dirk Pitt. I love that movie. I'm a big fan of Clive Cussler. So, yep, Um, and so that's what's going to happen on the 22nd. On the 23rd, and you haven't seen this listed yet, but I'm going to put that up there tonight. On the 23rd, I'm going to be hosting the Wonderful World of Hallmark. I'll be hosting, but it's going to be Eric's show. Hey, Internet, it's Eric. It's going to be his show, and he is going to pick out the movie that we're going to be covering. It's called Big Sky River. It's a Hallmark movie. It's Big Sky River, and we'll be talking about that movie on the 23rd. On the 23rd, um, and so at 4 o'clock. Was it 4 o'clock? Yeah, 4 o'clock on Sunday, the 23rd. Um, will you give me and Larry a day to show off your? He already did that on their show. He did that. I think he did that. I don't know. I yeah, I think he did that. And my schedule is jammed. Really, quite honestly, I am overstuffed again. If I can't remember the last month I've had where I just had 3 shows a week, all for the entire month. I'm always adding stuff. I'm actually trying to cut that down to fit the schedule of 3 shows a week when I can. Um, uh, uh, yeah, if you we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure. What I might do is if you go up live, Steven, if you go live, I will come on there with you, and you and I can hang out together on your live stream, and then you can show us everything you got from your Texas Frightmare. I could do that. I'll be happy to do that. We'll pick out a date and it's all right. Just because I wasn't there, I'll be there. I'll come hang out with you. Oh yeah, yeah, no problem. We'll set something up. We'll do something on a like on a Monday afternoon or something like that. Just come on up there like around 2 o'clock and just well you know what? That's because we have to. We'll get it out there. We'll promote it properly. That'll be cool. Let's see. What else do we got here? I know you guys are hearing me talk. On the 25th of June, we have Anna Exton will be here. I don't know how to pronounce her last name either. But she is a horror actress based in Mississippi, and and I asked her if she knew who Christopher Moore was. She did not, but she already reached out and sent him a friend request. I'm going like I've heard of networking fast, but that's taking it to a whole new level, which is awesome because Christopher Moore, as you know, is one of the more terrific directors that we know of. Uh, and uh, and so we'll be talking with Anna on the 25th. That's a Tuesday, and then the last show on the 26th. I'm still waiting for an answer to come through. I'm holding it for a potential guest. I'll know by the next week if it's going to happen or not. If not, I'll fill the hole and let you guys know what it is. And then on the last show of June, we will be talking with Ashley Hargraves. Ashley Hargraves will be with us on the 27th, and that's my whole calendar. Holy crow, that's a lot of stuff coming you guys your way. All right. Okay. Let's see. Yep. Just want to make sure she can break in. Okay. Yep. All right. So I booked the first show in July. And it's actually surprising. I have not done this in a while. And then we're going to be having our first guest. We're going to have our first guest from Norway on the show. We're going to have in July. I just got to get the date down for him. But we're going to be welcoming in 101 Bronson is going to come out and hang out with us. Super psyched for that right there. He's a fellow YouTuber, but his channel is amazing. He is big into action adventures actors. Charles Bronson and Sylvester Stallone and the classic action 80s heroes, and he's also a huge James Bond fan. and also he's a massive Western fan. So he is going to come onto the show. I'm going to have that date booked, hopefully, hopefully really soon. Um, and then we're also going to go back to Australia, which we have not done, and I don't think that we've done a show from Australia in over a year. I think the last show we did from Australia was with I think was with Ruby Lott. That was the last time I think we went to Australia, but or it might have been Fluffy, Fluff and stuff. But we were going back there in July. We're going to be talking to actress Jama, and she'll be here in July. Let's see. Let's see. If you and Friendly Men's James help, we could talk to James about that. I know that they're starting to gear up now, though. I know that they're doing an interview with a new band, and I know I saw that with James. He said that they're coming out of the cloud. But yeah, we can see what we can do for sure. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you guys for sticking around. Jenna will be here. She will be here. She did, she did let me know. Let's see. All right, hold on one second. Let me go tell. Okay, one second. All right. Give me one second here. Oh my gosh. You know what? I think it ate it up. I've been having troubles with that. Oh, that's so weird. Well, that's StreamYard though for you. All right. Okay, she is here. She is actually on her way into the waiting room. So we will be off and running here. Oh, those who were asking me earlier, the Yankees and the Dodgers are still scoreless. That's amazing. Of course, I think Boone is throwing everybody away, everybody at the Dodgers, and the Dodgers have only used one pitcher. All right. Let's see. All right, let me just see what she can come in here. Yeah, that traffic though. You always got to factor things in when you do shows from on the West Coast and also from England or from Europe, which is England is part of Europe. You always got to factor in the time difference. Like the UK is 5 hours ahead of us. Australia is over a day ahead of us. So when we talk to them, let's say if I talk to someone from Australia today, right now, it's Friday here, but it's actually Saturday over there. That they're like 16 hours ahead of us. Um, I think Norway and Denmark, and they're like 6 hours ahead. Um, Italy, I think, is also 6 hours ahead. So that you have to factor into the time difference when you talk to somebody from another country or from the West Coast. All right, the doorbell has rang, and let's go get her. That's right. All right. Ta-da!
Hi.
Guy, I know you must have you must have did one of those superhero changes, right? Like
No, I
that.
actually, I was like driving is crazy. I'm like, it's a live stream. I cannot be late for a live stream. you know. So I'm like,
Oh,
I wish. I mean, where's Elon Musk? You know, why aren't we not flying? Where's the tunnel so we can get quicker home here in LA?
oh, oh, see, I lived in California. I grew up in Southern California,
Oh,
actually.
where?
I grew up in Ontario.
All right. Okay. Okay.
I grew up in Ontario. I lived in San Jose for 16 years, and then I moved out to Michigan. So I totally understand when you're sitting there going like, "I'm trying to get home through traffic." I'm going like, "You're preaching to the choir, sister, because we got you covered.
But
We know what that's like."
Patrick, interesting that actually our lives a little bit mirrored in terms of the climate switches, because I grew up in Russia, something like in Michigan. And now I got fed up with that and moved to California. Apparently, for you, it happened vice versa.
Is there a lot of traffic in Russia? I mean, Russia is it heavy traffic over there, or
Yeah, there is a
compared to?
lot of. I mean, I never. But so in Russia, I never drove in Russia. I never drove before I came here to the United States 9 years ago. So, but the thing is, in Russia, Russia has a very good system of transportation. And in Moscow, it's literally either you spend 2 hours in traffic or 20 minutes on a subway. So it makes no sense for you. So I came here at the age of 30, never knowing how to drive. I had to learn it here. Can't get around
Well,
without a car here.
if you can learn how to drive in Los Angeles, if you can learn how to drive in Los Angeles, you can drive anywhere.
Uh,
Uh, I
I'm not
mean,
sure. Mexico. I don't think I want to drive in Mexico.
oh yeah, Mexico, yeah, yeah. You know what though? Like here's something. I remember when I was a teenager, and we went down to Mexico. We went down to the Ensenada, and then on the way back home, our car broke down. So
Okay.
we're on the side of the road at night on the highway between Ensenada and Tijuana, and it was so barren that we were bored. We would literally just walk in the road and lay down on the road. And
Wow.
it's almost like a freeway for them. It was like a two
Oh,
lane, and there's no cars coming at all. And so we just sit there and lay down and just see how close the cars would get until before we had to get up. Of course, my mom saw that and had a cow. But that it was just no traffic. There was just no traffic. But I don't think that's the case today. I think the traffic is crazy, crazy busy.
when you're crossing, it's interesting. It's when you're crossing by car from San Diego to Tijuana, which is like 20 minutes apart. It's like it's a different world. In San Diego, everyone, big roads, everyone respects traffic lights. You got into Tijuana, it's like chaos, chaos, chaos.
Yeah.
Like how people, nobody pays attention to the traffic lights. I'm like, oh, you're on a big intersection, you don't know where to go. So it's pretty crazy.
Now, if you've been now, you go to Mexico because one thing I discovered that not only are you a fine actress, but you're also a stand-up comedian.
That's
So
correct.
do you go down to Mexico for gigs?
Not yet, and plus, I'm learning Spanish, but I don't think they would appreciate English speaking stand up in Mexico, since not everyone is speaking English down there, and it's actually, you go there, and it's very fair. You better speak Spanish, So, and my Spanish is a little rusty for stand up yet, but I'm getting there.
I'd like you to get. I was watching some of your stand-up,
All
and
right.
I thought, yeah, yeah. I'm sitting there going like, this is really good,
Oh,
and I was like, especially when you broke out the domadictics, I was sitting there, well, that's some sassy clothing right there.
oh,
And
oh,
you don't
thank
know
you.
what I'm going like, so like you want to sit there and laugh, but then you're like looking at her going, like, man, she looks really good in the leather.
No, what I did. It's a true story. If I can share it. I came here to United States as a plus size model. So I'm tall. I'm 5'10". I wear size 14, 16. So it's pretty good for plus size modeling. And I'm on those modeling websites, and I got offered this job as a dominatrix. This guy approached me saying, with your accent, your height, I can, in the heels, I'm over 6 feet tall. Can look quite intimidating. And the accent, apparently, you have this interesting in America. American men have this perception of about the Russian accent that it can sound very sexy and threatening at the same time. So it's kind of fine line. I'm gonna seduce you or I'm gonna kill you. You never know. So,
That's
a-
right.
and
She could she
he
could be a
offered
red
me.
sparrow. She
I
could be
know.
a red sparrow.
And I was offered this job as a dominatrix, and it's $500 per hour. For me, I'm like, I'm not, I like my job, my day job. So I'm not really looking into sex, any type of sex work. But when I started looking into stand-up comedy, I'm like, oh, that's a great character. That's a great comedic character that can reflect on things that's happening in this country as I'm learning them. So I created this character of Russian dominatrix and then developing it as a stand-up character.
I thought your set was really fire. I thought it was fire. I thought it was funny. I couldn't help but when you were sitting there talking about it, though, I kept on thinking about it myself and going like, like I was wondering how long you've been here and if you still have family in Russia, and
Yeah.
what is it like? What's it like knowing you have family in Russia while the war's going on?
Well, yeah, I've been here for 9 years. It's going to be 10 years in the upcoming December. And yeah, I still all my family is still in Russia. And to be honest with you, I mean, I know there's a lot of things that you see on TV about what's happened in Russia, and there's a lot of propaganda on Russian TV about the U.S., a lot of propaganda on American TV about Russia, but people in Russia barely feel like regular people, barely feel that there is something happening, and I guess that's a part of the ability of the regime to kind of provide people. I mean, there's no inflation like we have here. Uh, Provide with that stability of life, so people don't revolt while there is something happening. So my mom is a little bit different because she lives on the border with Poland, and kind of on the border the tension is high, but
Yeah.
still regular people, besides not ability to travel much, or it's very expensive to travel out of Russia right now. There's like tickets are expensive, and a lot of companies are not flying into Russia. But besides of that, actually, I mean, people don't really feel that effect of the war that's happening in Ukraine, for good or for
I
bad. I don't know.
I mean, you must talk to your parents about this. I'm just curious about it. It's like I just don't know why he doesn't go home. It's like I don't know why he attacked it. Putin. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just like there's nothing there for him. It's not going to end well. It's just nothing there. I mean, there's, I mean, tens of thousands of soldiers are dead, and for what? It's got to be. It's got to be. It's probably the last thing you expected to hear when you moved out here is to sit there and see your homeland is back, and fighting a war. And it's just like it's gotta be, even though you've been out here for 10 years, it's still gotta hurt your heart. You still gotta, I'm sure you've known people who have been hurt by this.
No, I mean it is difficult. It is difficult to comprehend that, and apparently maybe even. I mean, U.S. State Department advised all Americans do not go to Russia right now, because apparently the Russian state can use, capture the Americans, use them forward with some exchange for some exchange operations. I mean, it is difficult. It is difficult to see what's happening, what your country is doing. There is a lot of reasoning. If you speak to Russian people, there's a lot. I don't want to go into politics much. No, I think this is a golden rule for Americans: do not speak much about
Oh no,
politics.
we break that rule here. Oh
All
no,
right, all right.
yeah, you feel free to express yourself.
Yeah, so there is a lot of reasoning that Russian people believe that that war is justified, and the border security, the Ukraine wanting to go into NATO. There's a big question if it justifies what's that humanitarian crisis that goes in Ukraine. But generally, I mean, there is a lot of people running away from Russia, because there is definitely clear violation of freedom of speech. I mean, it's a military time, so they're not allowing. You can go to prison for posting anti government anti-war comment on social media. So a lot of people, a lot of huge. We see here in Los Angeles there is a huge refugee crowd that came in the last 2 years from Russia and Ukraine, and
Yeah,
Kazakhstan also. So I mean, it's a difficult situation generally, and kind of I'm hoping. And I cannot go home right now. Cannot go home. I have an 83-year-old grandmother who wants to see me in person. Every time she tells me that I want to see you before I die, and I can't because it might. I mean, you might not be able to come back. In my
yeah,
in my particular situation, there are a lot of Russians who travel, and it's but so it is a tough moment, and
yeah,
yeah, and people question you here, Americans, question you, wow, what's happening, and it's like, I kind of understand. I'm working on a joke saying I get how Muslims after 9/11 felt, because kind of there is certain animosity in the air towards Russia, towards Russians, Russian accent. Not, I mean, with Americans, I feel being very welcoming to everyone. I mean, it is a truly a melting pot of a country, and I love being here. I love this country, but it is kind of difficult times. Let's put it this way.
it is. It is. I mean, on one hand, it is like you said, it is fodder for comedy. I mean, yeah, you can make comedy out of anything. I mean, including
Yeah.
the war. And that's the beautiful thing about doing comedy is like nothing's off the limits. There's nothing that we can't poke fun at.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's actually, yeah. I'm starting. I'm going right after it, and I'm starting normally my set saying, I'm sorry, guys, my dear audience, I might bomb. I'm
yeah,
Russian, you know, so you better laugh. Might invade you.
that's
So, and
right.
I
That's right.
I feel when you're making, try, it is not every reaction of the audience, not, the same. People have different opinions about that, and different, I'm flying to Texas next week, and I'm going to do some stand up in Houston. And very curious to see how that part of the country will react to me.
Oh, they'll love you. They'll love you.
So
Um,
we'll see. But I think it's one of the things that I love about this country: ability to even, you can get canceled. Thankfully, government cannot put you in prison for freedom of speech in this country.
Well, I have
But
I have no idea what that really means. Canceled. It's like what? Or people say canceled. It's like, well, what does that even mean? I mean, what?
I
You
mean, you
don't
can
like me
lose.
anymore? I don't even know. I wouldn't know anybody if someone said that if you and I were talking and they didn't like the idea that I was talking to a Russian actress comedian and they said, well, we're going to cancel him. What does that mean?
I mean, it's more goes with if you're employed by a private company. So the government cannot cancel you. The Second Amendment protects the freedom of speech from the government. But if you have a cushy job with some entertainment company or any company, like any private company, and that private company doesn't like you talking about something and being an employee, you being associated with that company, they have a right to fire you. You can lose a job, or can't cancel. I think cancel, like you will get this societal condemnation, that you are wrong, that person don't like this person anymore.
Yeah, because I've heard the term, and it's just like you're gonna cancel me. What and employers have to be very careful of this because there's been a lot of them that have been suing, suing for their jobs because quite honestly, it's freedom of speech. Yes, there is ramifications for it, but let's say as long as you're not mentioning a company, as long as you're not mentioning your employer, or as long as you're not mentioning anybody by name, there's when if you go ahead and say, well, yeah, we saw you on YouTube and you were poking fun at the president. Well, we don't really like that.
Yeah.
That's too bad. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that. I'm not affecting your bottom line. I'm not affecting, it doesn't affect me from getting here at 9 o'clock, doing my job and going home. As long as I'm not out there, as long as I'm out there wearing representing you or your company. I mean, I know a lot of companies say, you represent us, you represent the company. I do. Everybody does to a certain extent. when you get to go home, when you punch out the clock and you go home, you're on your own time. As long as you don't bring that your job with you when you go home.
Mm-hmm.
And but I mean, I've heard people, like, no, does not give you the right to act like a fool at a Starbucks. No, if someone takes a picture of you and you're uttering rhetoric, or you're uttering racism, or you're uttering hate, or yeah, you could lose your job for that. And that's always been like that. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there and you're doing stand-up comedy, or you're doing a YouTube thing, and you're just doing an editorial, like, this is just my opinion, and
Yeah.
you can't get canceled for that. A company could lose, they could lose themselves with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a really, I just heard that term cancel a lot, and it's like, I just don't feel like, I know a lot of people say, well, cancel means that no one's going to support you anymore, and I
I
go like, oh, I'm going like, okay, well, they weren't supporting me anyway. I don't know how. I don't know. These people are coming out of the woodwork.
mean,
Well,
no, if
we
we're
don't
talking
like
about
it.
stand-up comedy, a recent example with Dave Chappelle, right? Making jokes about transgender community.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, I think with that, I watched that special just to get the full picture, and he talks about in a very positive way about his friend that he had with the transgender community that he let open for him, but there was an attempt to cancel him for those jokes from I guess Netflix employees. Staged the walkout, saying that they disagree that Netflix, airs this kind of content, and there was an attempt to cancel them that would make some effect on, some deals he might be having, or some maybe potential contracts. That kind of. I think that's what's meant. How cancellation when it comes to the stand-up comedian can look like. I think. I mean.
Yeah, I remember that with Chappelle. And all I can say about this is, if you're so sensitive, like, who Dave Chappelle is, you know
Yeah.
what he is, you know what he's about, and if you're that sensitive to what he's saying, or for any comedian to saying, because that's what comedians are. Comedians are not only, they're here to basically tell us what's going on, but trying to make us laugh in doing so. You know, trying to make it a little easier to accept with things that we don't understand. I mean, comedy is a really important part of our society,
That's true.
and so Chappelle gets up there, and all he's doing, you and me both, Jen, you and me both. All he's doing, he's giving his opinion. You,
Mm-hmm.
if
Mm-hmm.
you don't like,
Yeah.
if you don't like transgender, you're free to express that. I'm not going to say nothing to you. I mean, it's just like, I'm not going to say nothing. It's like, if that's how you feel, it's up to you, when you hear it, how to react. But to project it back on the person saying it, how? Because you know what? You can sit there and say, I don't like what he says. Well, guess what? I'm standing right next to you, and I don't like what you just said.
Yeah. So
You know
this.
what I'm saying? I don't like what you just said. Well, I didn't say nothing. Yeah, you did. Now I'm upset at you. So now I'm going to cancel you.
Yeah. So it's interesting how it's interesting academical topic, I would say, when everyone has a freedom of speech, and you can express your speech, your opinions. But where is that border when people disagree with you or you disagree with other people? So we're all expressing there. So like you can express your freedom of speech as long as anyone else is allowed to express their opinions. So, and you're okay with that. So, and it is interesting dynamic. And I mean, it's great to see that in this country, how it's working
And,
and not working sometimes.
yes. And Jen mentioned this, and this is true. And we talked about this with some other comedians here. It says comedians can't let go and be themselves anymore. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's one, yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a lot of comedians out there that have to they find themselves, like, self-policing. Like, have you ever written a joke? You ever written a joke and you look at it and go like, Yeah, I think it's funny, but I'm a little hesitant to say that joke
I
to
know.
this crowd.
I know.
You know,
No, I have a bunch of those jokes.
yeah.
Believe me.
Now, before it was like when you first came here and you first started doing stand up, anything went.
Mhm.
Now, now you're sitting there going like, well, I'm not sure this would fly in Texas, so maybe I better not use that joke. So in a sense, you're already being censored right then and there
And you
by you
censor
not,
by your own self, right? Because kind of
yeah,
like, oh, there's
because you're
societal expectations,
mm,
like. mm.
it's interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting. It's very interesting what's happening, and I'm like trying to track myself how I feel about the jokes, how I say, because obviously I'm very in a very liberal California, so some of the jokes like people like don't agree with them, and I'm very Russian, very straightforward, and yeah, so I'm trying to, but it's also an entertainer, you serve the crowd, right? I mean, it is about self-expression, but it is about making people comfortable in uncomfortable and laugh. So I mean, you learn how to cater whatever you create to your audience, to so it's actually a very interesting craft. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about doing that.
Now, did you let's see. Jim mentions comedy is such a relief to the stresses and drama of everyday life. Even
Mhm.
films in the comedic genre these days are untouched by politics, deliberate diversity boxes to tick off, and other garbage. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. It's like now you have to. Comedy is the last true bastion of just freedom of speech. You can be yourself, do whatever you want. Of course, within reason. I mean, you can't get up there and do what Michael Richards did, or you can't sit up there and be overtly. You can't be. That's still always been like that. You can't be racist. You can't be bigotry. That's not funny. That's not funny. That's racism's not funny. I find sometimes I find jokes and you hear those and you're going like, okay, you're going for a cheap laugh, but
Mhm.
you're a better comic than that. You
Okay.
can, you could do better, be better, that rather than going for the cheap laugh, the cheap heat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's actually there's a lot of that in comedy now. Cheap laughs because everyone is and me included, going for sexuality, right? For sexual jokes, politics, all that stuff. But you're right. I mean, I guess everyone is trying to find their own voice, kind of you self-express yourself in your comedy and how you feel. And what you said about comedy being that last place when people can express themselves, especially when it comes to live comedy. There's a lot of live shows around the country. Every city has a comedy club, and it's pretty amazing how, you can go and listen to and support live comedy. It's very important. I encourage everyone to support live comedy. Uh,
Yeah.
because it's a way of communication, a way of one person working on their craft, having opinions, expressing those opinions, and people in a way connect to that with love. With the so, I mean, it's a pretty amazing way of communication and society building in a way.
Um, how long have you? How long? I mean, how long have you been doing stand up?
It's been about 2 years for me right now.
W so you came over. You were discovered in Russia as a model.
That's right.
But you came here. I mean, how did you go from? How did you go? Now, were you a model in Russia when you were in Russia? Were you modeling then?
Yeah,
And
so I was discovered probably when I was 20 as a plus size model, and kind of started in, I'm pretty unique for a Russian the way I look. And I think Russian women are generally smaller in frame and in height. So I'm pretty tall even for a Russian woman. And also Russian women are not, for some reason, not that curvy normally. It's a whole topic probably about the diets
oh
and
my
everything.
God, yeah, we stereotype Russian women over here terribly.
Yeah,
Every Russian woman is,
and it's a
is
gold mine for comedy, believe me. So it's like it's like you're digging into that. There's so much to make fun of you Americans thinking about Russian women, especially it comes from the Cold War era movies, like those dangerous and seducing. The Russian woman would do something to you, manipulate you into doing something that you will lose yourself. It's pretty
yeah.
amazing. It's pretty amazing material for me as a comedian. So yes, I was doing for since years of 20. I've been doing plus size modeling, and I worked with with a lot of clothing producers. At that time, the plus size clothing market was on a rise, and they needed women like me to showcase the clothing, and there were not many. So I was getting a lot of jobs, and then I started working in Europe. So I did some couple seasons in Europe, and then I like, yeah, time to move to a country of big people. And when I came here, I realized in my on my modeling board in the European agency, I would be the smallest of the biggest of the size, like 14, 16 US. Here I'm the smallest. My agent's like, can you gain some weight? We want you to
Oh,
be bigger.
wow, that's always been the opposite. Every actress that walks through there, every model that walks through there, it's always about, I've talked to models and they said, like how do you keep your weight down? And a lot of them are saying, well, nicotine and caffeine. And they're like, oh God, it's like seriously. So it must be sort of nice though when your agent said, yeah, could you put on a couple of pounds? You must have went, I I'm gonna marry this guy.
No,
Uh,
it's also, I don't want to be bigger. That's kind of also a thing that industry pushes you, to those liso standards. And I mean, I actually would like to lose, and I don't care as much about. I've been doing modeling for so long. I don't care. I care more about my health, and
right.
feeling good about I work out a lot, and it's also, with those curves, it's a lot of work to maintain them. For them to look good, you have to work out a lot. If you're skinny, you just don't eat, you're just skinny and that's it. But if you have like some meat, some muscles, you have to maintain them. So that's actually a lot of work. So I am kind of trying to actually trying to eat healthier and work out and kind of slim
I
down
was
a little bit.
I was checking out your Instagram page and I was very impressed. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I could definitely see why you got hired
Oh,
because
thank you.
yeah, sensational. The pictures were great. I mean, I was just thinking, well, there's a woman right there that loves herself and is empowering herself, and
Thank you.
It comes through their pictures. I mean, they're beautiful pictures. Of the swimwear you're wearing and just how you carry yourself in the pictures. Like here I am. This is who I am, and it looks great. And more power to you.
You
Stand in
know,
that.
it has been a journey, because I mean, I think every woman, regardless of height, weight, goes through the moment of finding who she is and self-accepting, regardless of societal standards. So, and it's been a journey for me, when you learn year after year to learn yourself, who you are, and it's something that we all go through. And yeah, I'm almost there.
Um, how did you get into acting? I mean, were you doing acting in Russia, or did that happen over here? Oh, you were
Yes,
acting.
I actually,
Okay.
when I was modeling back in Russia, my agent told me, I mean, you have a very unique physique. Why don't you try acting? Well, let's double it down. So I actually went and got education in like Russian method of acting back in Russia. But when I came here, I realized I have an additional challenge because acting in Russian and I had to relearn how to act in English because it's a completely different language and way of self-expression. And I'm still dropping my articles, the and those are very challenging for me. So and yeah, so I came here and I had to relearn acting with that new language. Yeah, and going that route.
Going to the chat real quick because Jen says you're beautiful, Jenna,
Yeah.
and all the power to you too. Yeah, I mean it's definitely it was great because I'm watching you and it was weird too. Is that Austin was doing an interview before our show. He was on a
Mhm.
couple of friends of mine. He was doing a interview with them, and I got over there and like I didn't know that was going to happen. I went over to see their show on they do a YouTube show, and there's Austin looking back at me and I'm going, oh shoot, there's Austin. So I told him that you and I would be talking tonight. Um,
Nice.
we were talking, yes, and what I really liked, it really comes across like in Sweet Killing Machines. Your character, the Sugar Plum, just absolutely, I mean, such a fun movie. And you came in there and you just owned your scene. The scene is it's just like, wow, that is, he's asking you to do some really sort of sassy things there, and but you had no fear. And you could read your body language and you're just like, yeah, I could do this. Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. He, he
You know,
he's in he's in awe of you, by the way. He thinks
mm.
he thinks you're amazing.
Oh, thank you. No, actually, me and Austin, I'm flying back to Wisconsin this August, and he's filming another movie, and it's a vampire movie this time, and he wrote a role for me, that vampire woman. Come on, yes, I am a vampire woman, like Romanian, Russian. So we're actually filming another movie, and I think it's gonna be great. I'm very excited about that. But talking about suit killing machines. Uh, I really love the character. I really like the character. I loved Austin's writing, and I keep telling him. I mean, it's a Tarantino level for me, and the
It really
Tarantino
is. Yeah,
Tarantino jokes, Tarantino humor, even the fact that it's so lengthy, and you kind of, but you glued to it with you that you see those weird characters develop, because modern movies, I think they're so predictable. It's like very cookie cutters. And when you see those independent movies like Austin is doing, producing and writing and filming, I mean, it's like it takes you on some unexpected journey, and I read the script. I fell in love with Sugar Plum. Yes, she's a prostitute, but she's not just some generic prostitute, and which is, I mean, every sex worker has
she's
the.
extremely smart. She's
Yeah,
just
she's
it's
smart. She's politically motivated. She knows what, like, prostitution needs to be legalized. She has a story, like, of having to provide for kids. And she's like, it's an amazing character. I read it. I'm like, I have no doubts. I want to do that. And the fact that he went with me, as a Russian, kind of Russian accent speaking actress. Also, I felt like it speaks to the diversity of this country today. This. I mean, and that's true. I mean, wouldn't you agree that would reflect the current makeup of the country? Because
yeah.
yes, I can be Russian. Came here to the United States when I was a child. Grew up in the Midwest, still keeping my accent as a Russian immigrant, but create this character that would be seen widely as somebody of your own, of your, like, somebody who's American. So I really love that part about that as well.
I saw the Tarantino too. I mentioned that too, but and going back and rewatching the movie, I think I really sort of did a little bit of a disservice. I should have said, Sweet Killing Machines, because the dialogue, it reminded me more of David Mamet than it did Tarantino when I going back and looking at it,
Okay.
because Tarantino uses a lot of profane language in his movies, a lot of
Okay.
profane. David Mamet really doesn't. There wasn't a lot of cursing in Sweet Killing Machines. There was some, but there wasn't a lot. It wasn't like a Tarantino movie where every other word is a curse word.
Yeah.
And to me, I went back when I rewatched the movie, and I picked that up, and I'm going like, this movie is better than I thought it was
Oh.
the first time I watched it. And then I watched it again, and I'm going like, man, this is more Mammoth. This is
Okay.
smart. This is great. Oh, if you don't know who David Mamet is, look up and get some of his movies. and then watch them, and just if you don't have to watch the movie. You could put like you could just like turn down the picture of your TV and just listen to the language coming through.
Mm.
It's he's the best screenwriter. He's the best screenwriter to me of
No,
my
I
generation.
and I think the Austin Galante is an amazing screenwriter. I mean, you see the dialogue, how it flows, how
Yeah.
exquisite it is, how interesting within the dialogue, the characters. No, I'm actually very excited about this new vampire movie that we're gonna film.
Oh yeah. Now have you done a horror movie yet? Have you ever done any horror movies as of yet, or
I
have you
think
done mostly
I
dramas?
did, and I don't watch horror to be honest with me personally. I'm very impressive. And just driving down to getting home was so stressful for me. So I'm like, I need to calm down. But I love act in horror movies. I mean, there is something about unleashing the inner self. I love that even playing zombies, witches. Oh, witch! I actually, when I came to LA 9 years ago, the first gig I did to play a witch in some local theaters, and I love that. That's kind of crazy witch that she used to be like a mother who lost her child, and she turned into that witch. She's stealing children. I mean, it's a horror movie, stealing children from other mothers. Full of grief, and I guess this is something I'm thinking that I've been doing modeling so long, and I'm so tired of being, a polished, pretty girl on the screen. I love those realistic characters. I love being ugly. I love the zombie makeup. That.
Oh, yeah, that's a sign of an actress, right? I mean, that's stuff that I look for when I watch a horror movie.
Mhm.
There's something to be said. There's a lot to be said when because they always cast all these beautiful girls in all these parts, and
Yeah.
there's nothing more cooler to me is when you see a really pretty girl roll around in the dust. I mean,
Hmm.
willing to get dirty. I mean, I could think of a lot of actresses right now that, hey, we're gonna put some blood on you,
Yeah.
and they're
Yes,
going, not
please.
me, not
Yes.
me. You're not doing that to me. And then there's a lot of actresses out there that we're gonna sit there and say, yeah, we're gonna have you die by, we're gonna cut your stomach open. Okay, that sounds good to me.
I
And they're
know.
happy with it. Okay, we want you to be running in the woods and then you trip over an invisible branch. Can you do that? Oh, no
Yeah.
problem. I can, fight. Can you fight the killer? Yeah, no problem. I could do that too. And then next thing you
Mhm.
know, they're all dirty. They got smudges on their face, blood in their hair, all that, and they're loving it. And as a viewer of that, I dig it. I think it's like with even non horror movies. Like
Mhm.
when your character comes in there, and you come in there, you wearing your bra and your panties, and it's just like, and you're comfortable there. You can radiate, you can feel that radiation. It's like you're confident, and it comes through, and you're not afraid to do the scene, and it's a pretty graphic scene.
He
And
was. And kind of Austin has it even more graphic in his, but it's kind of circumstances fell in, so it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, it's shot great, so it's very deceiving. So
uh,
we're not doing anything closer to what people are imagining we were doing, but that's the
right,
magic
right, right.
of the movies.
But I mean, the first time you see the scene, you're going like, I was just sitting there going like, man, that's pretty out there.
I
I was
know.
sitting there,
I
that's
know.
pretty out there. But it fit the character, it fit the narrative. It did. And more importantly is that your character's not there as just a decoration. Your
Hmm.
character is there with a lot to say,
Yeah.
and his script allows that, and it says, all that's what made the movie so poppin' is the dialogue between you guys.
Hmm.
Everybody. It's not an action movie at all.
Yeah.
It's a thought driven, character driven, drama, and I was there for it.
And
Let's see. All right, what's going on, Larry? Larry is one of the two people that was interviewing Austin earlier.
all right.
And Jen mentions, let's see, Muriel from Hansel and Gretel, Witch Hunters. was so awesome. Famke Janssen did an excellent job in that. Famke Janssen does great work just about everything. I assume that horror is such a versatile a genre to be involved in as an actor. It's unrealistic. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of the horror movies, you're right. I mean, they are unrealistic. Of course, some of them are too realistic, and that makes it an interesting dynamic too. Um, let's see, and so you get to make up your own because they're not everyday situations. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Larry wants to know what was Austin like as a director.
Well, we were, to be honest, we filmed my scene. It was, I think, 16-hour day.
Yeah.
So it was very, we were very jammed. And I mean, it is a low, we didn't raise much money for that movie. So, which we're trying to raise more for this upcoming movie. Please support us if you can. Uh, but so that's why it was very small production crew. Austin basically was doing, trying to figure out the set, trying to figure out filming, trying to give directions. So there was a lot of going on, and we got a great team of actors and people who were helping us. And yeah, I mean, Austin as a director, I think he just trusted us. We did a lot of preparation via Zoom. I'm here in Los Angeles, guys in Wisconsin. We were meeting for a month before every week, Zoom meetings, running scenes, learning scenes too, because there's a lot of dialogue. And so that's when we kind of got that general direction, what we want to do. So when we got there, Austin just let us do our thing, trusting us, and it was pretty amazing to work with him.
Uh, let's see. Jen mentions Genia. What do you think about Russian accents done by non-Russian actors? Costas Mandalore seems to have a pretty good one, but what are your thoughts? And can you give us an impression of one that you hate? So yeah, I mean, that's a let me expect if I can, Jen.
I get the question. I get the question.
It's a very great question. It's a great question.
Yeah, great
Um,
question.
what,
So
and not only about the accent, but what the stereotyping too. What's your take about the stereotyping? Like the typical Russian. Like you said, it's like with a heavy accent. Name of Ivan and or
yeah.
Natalia.
Well, I mean, it's a kind of multi-layered question. First of all, I mean, I'm okay with Americans playing Russians because I mean, you Americans pretty good in faking our accents. So I mean, good for you. But please, please don't let them speak Russian. Please, because when they speak Russian, I want to cry because it's so fake. It just I mean, okay, you doing Russian character, and there's a lot of Slavic looking Americans that can pass for Russians, and Russia is very multi-diverse, very diverse country. So we have Asian influence, we have Middle Eastern influence, so there's a lot of mixture. So a lot of Americans could pass for Russians in the movies on the screen, especially if I mean there's also certain uh, in order to sell Russian character, I think there is certain uh, feeling inside that I mean, for to give you an example, you can if you in Moscow and you see an American walking down, you can spot him right away. Like by the way you guys walk, you smile, you're relaxed, everything is so much fun. Russians are not like this. We are.
I was waiting for that. I'm gonna have to sit there and say that's not true. You can spot a Russian really easy here in America,
That's
and
true. That's
you
true.
can't. You know what they wear. It's almost like when they're over in Russia and they say, "Well, I'm going to go over to America," and they turn around and say, "Well, there's two things you need to do. You need to have some tattoos on, and then you need to wear jogging suits."
Yeah, I know. But it's
Oh
not.
my lord! I don't know how that happens, but It does. It does. I've been around. I've
Mhm.
been around a few Russians, sure shit enough that they don't come out wearing those tracksuits.
You know,
And I'm like,
it's actually
I thought,
something that came up, I think, in the 90s. Before 85, there was, before the perestroika, Russia did not have much import from West. To include, there was a lot of underground stuff, listening to Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan and all that stuff. Jeans, or at some point, I think it was, you only could buy it illegally, pair of jeans. So I guess when 90s came, that was something that was the first thing that started being imported in Russia, and people like Russians, oh, that's cool, something new. And they, I guess, it's older generation. I think younger generation now dress modern, but you are right that Russians can be spotted very easily as well, and it's always very focused, very unfriendly look. Like you're about to get attacked. You never smile. You're very suspicious. What do you want from, and you can spot Russians like this, and I actually had to unlearn that. To be
oh
to learn to be more friendly, to kind of, you want to fit in. But what
yeah,
I'm saying, when you're playing Russian, in the movie, is if you're an American, that's something that, you have to kind of feel and understand, that kind of inner tensity in Russian, like something might happen to me at any moment, and I have to be prepared. I have to be ready for that, So that's that feeling. Who I think the great American actress who, in my opinion, best played the best Russian character. I don't remember the name, but it was red formed the orange, the new black. Remember
oh,
that
what?
actress?
Yeah. What about Dolph Lundgren though?
I guess he's too Dolph Lundgren to be, and he
I was just thinking, he played Ivan Drago in Rocky 4 or 5, and I was thinking, wow, that, and Bridget Nielsen, here she is, she's playing a Russian too, and I'm
yeah,
thinking, and she was Swedish, I think, and I'm
but then
going like,
they look more Swedish. That's kind of,
yeah,
those tall, blue eyed, blonde. So again, we Russians are very mixed. I am quarter Asian actually. You heard about Genghis Khan?
yes,
Yeah, he kind of fucked half Europe. I'm sorry if you're allowing this language on this show. And so I'm quarter Genghis Khan. So I'm quarter Tartar. We say Tartar. And
Tartan, yeah,
there's a lot of mixtures, and there are some blue-eyed, Russians, Slavic, but with that Tatar influence, we're not as, I think, majority of us are not as like blue-eyed, tall, and Scandinavian like Dolph Lundgren and all those Rocky characters. So kind of Russians are it's a wrong I think it's a wrong perception for the most part. Though there are some Russians like this, of course.
I remember in high school, there were some there was like 2 or 3 Russian students that were in, and I mean, then you could tell by they had their accents and whatnot, and the first thing that me and my buddy, we were like meeting them for the first time, and you guys, oh, you're from Russia, right? Yeah, yeah. And then immediately the first thing we said to him, and looking back at it, it's like it's a stereotype, and then we go like, you want to play some chess? That's the
Oh,
first, at first they got angry at us, right? Well, we didn't know that they were messing with us. They got, well, you think every Russian plays chess? Are we all are we going like, well, I says, of course we'll play chess with you.
oh, nice. That's a great story. I'll take this. I can play. I think I learned when I was a child, but I
Mhm.
think it's older generations too. Before TV and everything, there's nothing to do but play chess. So
Yeah. I always thought chess was Russia's national sport. I really did, because you guys are so great at it. It's just like
yeah,
fantastic. I mean,
no, we're not. We're just great. We're just great in everything, including chess.
uh-huh. Oh. uh, well, you're definitely proud of your heritage. You don't hide that.
Hmm.
You hide that, and you have respect for it, and you want the respect given back. do you know when you do your comedy act, when you do your stand up, do you have to deal with hecklers and when they hear you speak, do you get heckled at all? And if so, how do you handle it? Do you
You
cut
know,
loose?
I haven't been heckled yet.
Good,
Thank God,
good.
I guess. But I mean, sometimes I do hear people are not. It's like, you know, I guess the topics sometimes are a little bit too serious. Again, I'm gonna bomb you. I'm Russian. I'm gonna invade you, and it's like it takes a certain amount of sense of humor to get that. And sometimes I get like, wow, what's she's. It also depends on how politically leaning the audience, which way it is, and how open they are about talking about that. And if you saw my act, I'm doing this set as a Russian dominatrix hired by American males to humiliate them, and then go into politics, let's make Cold War a little hot, and all that stuff. So kind of sometimes that
Well,
doesn't connect that much to the audience. And I think that's my job as a comedian to find more approachable ways to explain it, and I'm working on that. I'm committing in developing, so I'm trying to find, because again, yes, you are as an artist expressing yourself, but it's also, I believe it's our job and our professional duty to find ways to be, heard, understood by the audience the way we want to be. It's a craft, so that's where I'm at. But yeah,
um,
overall, people love it, and I think because I build on that Russian strong woman stereotype that's been existing for decades in this country, and the people really react. And you don't see me right now, but I'm really tall with my high heels. Can be have my whip can be very intimidating, and funny, intimidating. So sort of it's a
American
little.
men love that though. They love it. They do. Yeah. I mean, what was it like the first time when you did your first open mic? Because and what was more intimidating for you to do? Was it more intimidating to model? Was it more was it more difficult to model, act, or do comedy?
Oh, I think comedy was definitely the most intimidating, and
I
it's
for
also the most honest genre, I think, in art, because in modeling you just model and then there is a selective process for the pictures and somebody puts it together, edits it, makes it you look better. With acting, the same thing. You have a ability of multiple takes, right? You can do take, retake, you can correct, and then you see, okay, yeah, you coordinate with your director. Did he like it or not? So you kind of get, but here you get one shot, right? You get into front of the audience, either they laugh or not, and this is like it's so scary because you've been working on this material, you think your jokes are good, and sometimes you even don't know if it's just not a right fit for the audience, your jokes, or it just jokes is something wrong with the joke or the audience. So you actually accept, and to be honest with you, it's again, as with modeling, it took me years to learn myself, to accept myself. So it's also it's very tricky with your insecurities. When you're up there, you bring in your best jokes, intentions that you worked on, and people are not laughing. You're like, am I not good enough? It's like those insecurities starting crumbling in your head, thinking, you're not talented, you're not gonna make it. You see, they don't even find you funny. So it is a struggle. It is a struggle, and I find it it's very challenging and takes a lot of courage to keep going. Actually, after
yeah.
people don't laugh, you still got up stage and you still you try again. That's I don't know, that's the most challenging part for me.
What was it like the first time you knew that you hit? Like you got over.
That was amazing. Which one was that? I think it was one of the open mics, and I did my older set. I have another set before Dominatrix, actually saying that I'm Russian, but my booty is becoming more and more American. Now she doesn't want to talk to me in kilometers, but miles to the closest McDonald's. It speaks to me in instead of like somebody sends me a dick picture, I'm like, oh, this is a nice 7 inch. She's like, no, this is 7 centimeters. So I was playing with that, and when that hit, it was amazing. It's for me, I guess, and I've been thinking about that. For me, I am, as a fairly newly immigrant, I'm looking for the ways to fit in this society. And I find this place, and I think of this place as my home. This is a place of what I want to be, that's I want to call home, and I'm learning how to fit in, how to be accepted by this society. Still keeping myself, staying who I am, but then feeling accepted. And when you come up and you do those jokes, accepting the most weirdest things about yourself. With normal life, you tell it to people, in a bar. People are like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, she's strange. But here you got on stage, you say this weird stuff, and people laugh, and that's a great way of feeling, in a way, accepted. So it's kind of, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Since then, I actually did. We have a big venues here, like Ice House Comedy Club in Los Angeles, and yeah, it's been hitting, thankfully. So I'm like I feel great about that.
So you're making inroads. Let me catch up on the chat real quick here. Hey, Lemonia is here. Let's see, saying hi, Booski. I love that. From the owl, from the night owl. Hey, don't you mean hey, boot? Okay. Let's see. And everybody's saying hi to everybody. Let's see. Jen mentions here. Do you have a favorite city or state to perform at? Which has made you more nervous, if at all? Yeah. What has actually been your favorite city to? What city has accepted you the most and reacted most positively to your stand up?
I mean, it's the most challenging and the most beloved. It's my home city, and like it is. I mean, it's different from city to city, but since I'm here in Los Angeles, and I know all the comedians, bookers. I know the shows, and it's, in a way, it's a reflective of my journey. How I came up to be a comedian, how I tried from open mics to a comedy store, and you're trying different material. And yeah, I love Los Angeles, even though living price of living is horrible. It's impossible to live here. But this is
Yeah.
something about this culture, this legacy of the comedy legacy of the city. And yeah, it really speaks to me.
If you had to live somewhere else other than Los Angeles, which city would you like to live in that
Well,
you've
I
seen here in America?
I did travel quite a lot in the US, and you would think that New York would be a good fit for me, but in a way, I lived for 10 years in Moscow. It's the capital of Russia, and it's also same, very fast vibe, drive that's almost exhausting for you. So I wouldn't want to. I mean, I tried New York like a couple times. I visited. I'm like, no. After a couple days, this is not a city for me. Same for San Francisco. I get to. I did. I feel. I. I visited Chicago, and it seems like an interesting city to me with all the history. Um, so to be honest with you, I'm pretty happy here. If I had a chance to move somewhere with money to sustain myself, not working, I probably would go to Hawaii. I really like that, Hawaiian island, and I love being next. I grew up in Russia, next to volcanoes. There is a peninsula across the Pacific Ocean from here, next to Japan, called Kamchatka. It's a
Yeah.
Russian peninsula, and that's where I'm from. There, I grew up, and I grew up seeing those volcanoes. And when I came to Hawaii, even though it's more south and it's warmer, I felt the same, in a way, energy, like volcanoes, eruptions, ocean. So I felt great about it. But I don't think there's much to do in terms of work there, and it's probably a place to go to retire at some point. I would love to live in Hawaii.
I,
But
uh,
other than
you,
that, I
I remember.
think
I remember the first time I learned about Kamchatka was I was always, it was always one of the hardest countries to capture and Risk. Um,
Oh, right. Yes, I know. People know Kamchatka from Risk. People are like, yeah, we
yeah,
know. Yeah.
because Asia was just nobody ever wanted to take Asia because Asia was a bitch to defend. Like
Yeah.
me, whenever I played Risk, I would always go down to South America. Go down
Okay.
there because you're only facing two ways. There's only two ways people can attack you.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah,
can hold them off, then you can expand from there. So I always did that. But Kanchaka, that was like the first time I ever heard of it, and then
yeah.
it was just tough to.
So now you're talking to a person who is from Kamchatka. There are people living there. There are people living there.
It's awesome that you know what Risk is too. I don't think I want to play you.
I never played it, but people. I know it because people have been telling me when I say I'm from Kamchatka, like, oh, we know it's from Risk. Is Chukotka also in Risk? Do you know Chukotka?
Uh,
To the
no.
to the northern part tip of Russia. I think Chukotka is. I'm not sure. No, but yeah, that's what people been telling me.
What I know of Russia, I know that there's Mongolia. I know there's Russia, then there's Siberia, there's the Urals, the Ural Mountains. I know that that's there.
Hmm.
Let's see what else is there. I'm trying to think of on the game board what it was.
All right.
And then
I
I'm
mean,
thinking about and then the Soviet Union. We had the Iron. They had the Iron Curtain. I know about the all the countries that were behind the Iron Curtain.
well,
Um,
you see, this game at least gave you Americans a unique opportunity to study Russian geography.
that's right. That's right. So when we during the Cold War, if when they were talking about the Cold War about the Russians coming, Warsaw Pact coming through oh yeah, we know about that from playing Risk.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I
you
know.
could
Especially
put all 30 armies of your next turn right there. You'll be all right.
that imagine American soldiers for some reason in Russia, and they're like, "Oh, we know this from Risk."
Yeah.
The city from Risk.
Can you imagine when do you got a road map? Do you have a map? Sure, I do. And then break out the Risk board and say,
I
yeah,
know.
you're about right here.
It's a great
Uh,
joke. I love this.
I, you can use it.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh, Limona says that she is a fan. Let's see. Those shoe jokes are definitely healing my soul. All right, I love it. Let's see. We suck at all. We suck at geography. We should at least know Russian geography.
At
Yeah,
least,
all you need to do
right.
is just grab a wrist board. You'll be all right. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. And then Jen wants to know, yes, Genia, as a fellow woman, we definitely love eruptions. Oh, okay. Oh, she has dropped tops in it. A fun joke. Well,
They will love.
I'm reading what you're saying, Jen. I'm seeing what you're putting down. And all right. Now there we got into it by talking about earmuffs. Larry, holy cow, Larry! All right, this is not the midnight hour. Okay, in the cat house. Oh, now Jen is saying hot eruptions. Holy cow! I think we triggered something here.
All
Um,
right.
I guess so. Yes. Good to know. Good to know. I didn't know our interviews could do that, but now that I know, um,
You can market them differently. Maybe
that's
sell some
right.
sex toys. In the on the on the breaks.
The soothing tones of Genia and Patrick. That's that's right. Um, uh, so now playing have you ever played a character? I mean, is playing a vampire? Is this going to be the most challenge? What's the most challenging acting role that you've had to do? Will it be a playing this vampire? Will that be a hard challenge for you, or
No,
something?
come on! I can bite you and turn you into the vampire right away. I mean, I have no problem. Let's do improv.
Well,
No, but vampire is no. I mean, that's it's. I think I'm a character actress. You know, being funny, being too much. You know, people say you're too much. Yeah, I'm too much. So and those characters are great for me. You know, and it's also the stereotype Russian prostitute. You know, who else Russian actress can play Russian prostitute or a spy or to get or both right in one role.
yeah,
Cheetah,
it does seem like we do stereotype
yeah.
Rush, and every Russian male is a KGB agent. They're always
Mhm.
looking and their name is Ivan, and they're yeah, you would think
And
after you would think that after all this time though that we would get away from that, but do you yourself have to deal with the stereotypes when
well,
when your agent calls for to have you audition for roles? Are
well,
you feel like
I,
stereo? I'm sorry, go
I,
ahead.
yeah, I am embracing it, because I mean, this is like that's what works best. But at the same time, I do agree. I mean, and that's why I liked the most about Sugar Plum, and the Suit Killing Machines. That you see, she's not a. I mean, she's a prostitute, all right, but she's not a spy, and she's not identified as Russian. Even the actress is speaking with a Russian accent, so she's playing a character Midwestern mom, right? Who had to
Right.
make hard choices, and that's what I like. And I think we should. And I'm having a challenge with the accent. Having the Russian accent, they think that in order to hire you, you have to be associated with Russia somehow. But I'm like, no, there's so many Russians here, Russian immigrants, and we are part of fabric of this society. We Please take us as nurses, as main characters, love interests. And I would love to, even though I do know I'm more of a comedic, that character actress, I would love to play, and I actually have the idea for the show we're developing right now as a Russian dominatrix. I mean, it is a comedy, but it's a Russian dominatrix coming here, searching for an American dream. And that's how, she can make it. She manipulates men, and it's a psychological comedy, and all that stuff. But also to see, I mean, you Americans, you like stereotype, and I guess that's somehow the society needs at some point. I don't know how it works, and all. Yesterday, I was talking to my Iraqi friend, and I told him about that joke, and that I'm Russian, I might bomb you. He's like, oh, I was an Arab, can do the same thing. You can do the same joke. I'm like, yeah, you can. So it is kind of a part of the stereotyping way you go about in this society. And again, I mean, I'm
Whoop.
sorry, I disappeared for a second because it's fun, but at the same time, of course, I want to do something deeper, something more normal for the society to break out, and be that regular American character that you would think that would live and strive to be happy in this country.
Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's see. Like Xenia on the top. Yes, yes. There you go. That's a stereotypical Russian. Yeah. That's a good one. See. Don mentions his favorite stereotype is Alpine. Uh, is that what you said? Alpine?
Alpine?
Oh,
What is Alpine?
I have. Yeah, I don't know that one. My
Alpine
favorite
trees? I mean, we
My
have
favorite
some pine trees in Russia. That's what it means.
well, I thought it was Russian fir.
Fur.
I think, yeah,
Alpaca.
Russian, yeah.
Alpaca?
I
No.
think there's a tree, the Russian fir, isn't there?
Oh, I mean, definitely have
F F
fur. Well,
FIR.
you cannot be for Greenpeace in Russia. You're gonna freeze to death. Sorry.
Yeah,
One.
that's the one. That's probably the only. There's two things I remember is about Russia about stereotyping. One was from an old TV series called Hogan's Heroes, and they always tell the German soldiers that weren't doing their job, they would be sent to the Eastern Front. And then the other thing was, of course, everybody would get shot. If you broke the rules, they would shoot you. I mean, but that's it's just the more we're talking about these stereotypes, the more I'm realizing how completely ancient and quite just, for them to be still here today, is, it's sort of, mm,
And
it's
you
just
know
sort
what
of,
I want to, and we were talking about this current conflict. I think Russians and Americans, we have way more in common than we think. You
yes,
know, it's, I
I
mean,
agree with,
culturally,
I agree with that.
mentally, and that's why, and, a lot of Russians immigrating here, they appreciate a lot of things that, and they bring a lot of with them, to contribute to this country, because we're kind of hardworking people. We don't believe that's anything that should be given to you for free. So you kind of come here expecting to work. That's how we are raised. But I think we have a lot in common with Russians and Americans generally as people, and you know I don't want to go into politics, but if there would be a chance for more exchanges, people knowing, getting to know each other, I think there's would be great. I mean, I think it's very idealistic to talk about that, but I wish there would be a way to build that mutual understanding and dialogue, like true
I, I,
dialogue
per-
between people.
I personally feel like they say this all the time, and I personally feel this to be the case. If you guys have a conflict, all right, I think our president, Mr. Biden, should meet, or in this case, Russia and Ukraine, Zelensky and Putin. They should go inside of a room. They go inside of a room and then tell them to fight to the death.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, I mean, tell them. There you go. Here's some boxing gloves. Fight to the death.
Well, I mean,
I think how many times do you think they would actually do it? If you
well,
told if you told both leaders to fight to the death, whoever wins, But a lot of times you sit there and you find out, like, I don't, why am I going to fight this man? He's done nothing to me. Then why are you having your countries do this?
yeah.
I mean, it's like, it just, I think if more leaders actually had to do the physical lifting, they actually
Hmm.
get up there and fight, we would have a lot less fighting. Like, because, like, if your country is going to be invaded first, you're off the boat first. You're hitting the beach first. You're leading it. You know,
But
it, it,
I think it's like some Asian societies. I mean, it's an animal world, right? I think in a wolf pack, the leader has to be the strongest, has to fight off. I mean, there's no democracy
Mhm.
process there. Of course, we're not comparing those two, but I think there's some Greeks or Romans. I'm not sure. I'm not really familiar with that, but I heard there was that. The physical competition, but it's also we're living in a different society right now. I mean, there is what I'm trying to say, there is a tradition, in centuries ago of doing that, and that people, resolve through physical fight their leadership, stronger win and rule. But I guess we're kind of in a different society right now, a different stage of civilization. But I mean, I can appreciate the humor of
um,
picturing all that stuff, considering that Zelensky is way younger than both of them.
right. Let's see. Let's see. See, Jenna, are you a fan of Stranger Things? Russia plays a big part of the fabric of the storyline. Um, Jen says Biden would fall asleep and be late to the battle, so he win by forfeit. Unfortunately, well, we know what how Putin got. That'll be another story for another day. But yeah, that's true though. I mean, maybe Putin and Biden could have a sleep off.
Sleep
Wh-
off,
wh- Yeah,
right?
what leader falls asleep? Whoever falls asleep first or sleeps the longest wins. Um,
Right.
do you have we're going to get close to our time. Does anybody have any last minute questions for our guest? Uh, yeah, we'll give Vlad, or either that or have a pillow fight. We'll give Vlad and Joe some squishmallows and turn them loose in a room. Anybody have any questions for our guest before we let her go? She's had a long day, and I don't want to make it
Well,
any
right.
longer. Uh, uh, I want to I want to thank you for coming out and coming and hanging out with us. I had so much fun with you tonight, Jenna. I am I Is it Jenna or Genia?
It's Genia. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And I know it's a little against the spelling, but and also it's another story I'm trying, because my Russian name is Yevgenia, or Zhenya is short. So I was trying to figure out the form for Americans to pronounce it. It's Genia, and I kind of can identify too with that.
Sure. Sure. I like that. It allows you to keep your identity. That's important.
Yeah.
I don't think any immigrant should have to suppress who they are to fit
Yeah.
in.
But I mean, it's
Um,
also, we're coming from with those long names. It is it's difficult, and yeah, I mean, you gotta adapt. You choose for yourself how you wanna adapt, how you wanna, and I feel like Genya, I associate with that, and it's easier for people to pronounce. I'm good with that.
um, I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out. And I know that you'll be appearing next week at Houston, right? You'll
Yes.
be- So that be performing your comedy in Houston. Um, and Sweet Killing Machines is out right now. So if you can go ahead and look it up, I think it's on Amazon and some other streaming services as well, maybe Apple TV. But
Hmm.
you can watch Sweet Killing Machines featuring Genya. It is out right now. Um, and we'll stay in touch. I definitely want to have you come back. I had a
Please.
lot of fun and it was a great conversation. And maybe next time we get you here, maybe you could drop a set for us because I love to hear it. I love
Yeah,
to.
I would love to. Of
That
course. Yeah.
we'll definitely do that.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you did too. Um, Again, we'll be back here on Tuesday for a double header. We will be talking. We're going across the pond to Great Britain. We're talking to actress Victoria Chambers and acting coach actor Derek Barr, and that will be at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock on Tuesday afternoon, and then on Tuesday night we'll be talking with Dar Dixon. Actor Dar Dixon will be here at 8 o'clock, and there will be some fireworks for that one, I'm sure, because Dar's a great actor, but he's also an activist, and we're talking about speaking one's mind. He does. He speaks his mind eloquently, and we'll be talking to him on Tuesday night. I want to thank you, the chat. You guys came out here. I know some of you have been online for quite a while. Thank you, Don and Larry, for coming out and supporting the show. I appreciate it. You guys kicked ass today with your interview with Austin. I look forward to seeing more interviews on In the House. Jen, always a pleasure to see you. So glad you came out. Limonia, you too. Thank you for coming out for the support. Steven, we'll talk after off the camera. We'll see about getting you up and running and showing off Texas Frightmare gear. Who else came in? Anthony came in, and the Sue from the Bud Files. Thank you all for coming in. Hobbs, oh yeah, the Yankees lost too. But thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate it. Thank you to Lady Valerie Bones. I have to say hi to let's say goodbye to my chat. Jennifer Tuck. Yes. So we will. Charles. Hey, Charles, how are you? Glad you're here. We are signing off, but glad you came in. Feel free to watch the replay. If you want to, if you don't want to hear me just rapping for endlessly, go to about the 30-minute mark. That's where the interview will pick up at. Thank you so much. Stay right where you're at, and then I'm going to say goodnight to the chat, and we will see you Tuesday night. Be safe and peace.